My name is Paul Michael Graves. I'm a New York-based abstract artist. I work in oil, and this is my latest work. I wanted to do a video because still photography just doesn't capture the dynamic qualities of my work. I wanted to show you this. This is the first red that I did. It was kind of a study. And I chose linen for the red series because, well, it's a more mature material, and also the way that I'm staining the linen reveals the warp and the weft of the fabric. And this red, and it's kind of a purple, brown, black background. Just kind of glows, and it's very subtle, and it's very elegant. I love this piece. This sort of, once I did this, and I realized, okay, that's what I want from the red series. I want to explore this glowing, sort of luminescent. If it doesn't have that glow, then it's not capturing what red is all about for me. This diptych, of course, I've painted it joined at the seam, but I hung it here with a little 6-inch gap in the seam. And this is really turning out to be one of my favorite reds. I don't know if it's because of these like sporadic lighter gray marks that sort of, I don't know, just adds something that you can't describe. Again, everything is on linen. And if you look closely, you see the transparencies, you see the contrast in the sort of messy texture versus the clean layers on top. You got mattes, transparencies, glosses, all kinds of different colors hidden underneath these red glazes. Big fan of this. I want to see more like that. Quinacridone red with other marks that are sort of hidden into the background. All right, in the corner here, we've got a black painting I did a year ago, and then this red painting, which is very brown. The background is very brown. It's very much like that study I showed you. I mean, it is dark, dark, dark. But it's got, that is actually not black. I think it's alizarin crimson over like an India red. If you can see, there's like just a little figure underneath. Very dark. I'm playing with all different kinds of reds, and there's something chaotic about it, and also very, very happy about this painting. Finally, this is another red painting that I did about a month ago. And again, like a lot of those layers disappear until you move around. Like if you can see how the paint interacts. The bronze pieces are, again, there has to be this glow. It's like a reddish, I mean, it's a bronze color, not the oxidized bronze, but like the sculptural. And they've got interesting little compositions of my lines and patterns. And I showed 2 of these with Michael Steinberg in the winter of this year, a couple months ago. This is a completely different concept. This was done in 2024. It's my Indigo series. And so what I'm doing, there's a bunch of other paintings, and there's like a dozen of these. This is the big one. This is my favorite of the indigos because it's just big and square. But the concept is completely different. I'm not working with sheen, I'm not working with texture. I'm only working with this one layer of white on blue. And the blue and the white are all painted in the same day, alla prima, wet on wet. Basically, I'm staining the canvas, the cotton canvas, with mostly Prussian blue, but you can see some other variations of ultramarine and teal and turquoise. And then I take a wet white, and as I'm painting, I'm letting the white mix with the blue and create different shades and values of the blue, and then I'm letting it just fade away as the brush runs out of pigment. So as you can see, all the variation is just, this is also sort of a map of time. The brighter marks you can see were done when the brush was full of white pigment, and then it fades into the darkness. Well, that's how I achieve all the variety, is just letting the brush do its thing. So this was all done in one sitting. Blacks are interesting because the black is actually Payne's gray, which is almost a blue. So it's a very cool black. And then the glaze on top were several different shades of red and magenta. And so you can see some of that color come through, and then there's a textural map, like a circuit board underneath, that lets the paint do some interesting things. This diptych, vertical stacked diptych, is, you can see when I move around it, how the colors shift and change and things start reflecting back on these different shades of red. The gloss in the matte that I'm playing with, I'm very happy with this diptych. Here's another black. This is, if you can see, I have lots of different stuff hidden underneath these layers. So this is one of my favorite in the black series because it's just clean and simple, and I'm just exploring the different transparent browns I'm painting on top of this in a high gloss medium. It's another black painting with some browns and blues and green. I love how this texture plays with the paint, how the paint sort of interacts with the texture. Here's a pair of paintings. There's actually a third in this. They all were sort of painted at the same time. If you can see, so all this texture is at the top and all the colors at the top, and it kind of cascades down. And of course, my white series is very popular. Everyone loves it. I enjoy making them. And what I love is how this becomes kind of like a cloud with different shades of, in this case, beige and white and gray. And it's all done, again, with like this, if you can see the transparencies, or the contrast and sheen with different marks I'm making, but then they also interact with this texture. And the colors are all buried underneath these layers of white. And I love how the white will create sort of a a glow around the texture because the paint likes to hide in those little cracks and crevices. So really, the texture allows me to, or it allows the paint to behave in certain ways. Each one is a little different. This isn't a triptych. These are just 3 individual white paintings. Absolutely love it. And there's a big part of my brain that loves these compositions and these patterns. I mean, obviously, I've been making these marks for years. It just doesn't get old. This little yellow piece, I brought it into this particular exhibition because it's just fun. And it has my little textured, map of dots. People ask me if I'm painting maps, which is, I think, I try to resist a label, but maps are a big part of my past. As a helicopter pilot in the Air Force, I relied on maps a lot. And this language sort of evolved many years later at architecture school, so it's very two-dimensional. And I just love doing it. I guess it's a map. I mean, you could view this little thing in the bottom right corner as like some kind of legend. I don't know. But I just see the lines. I don't see the map. I don't see any representation to anything in the real world. I want to employ a wide variety of angles to approach these colors and to understand these colors. So each one of these is very dynamic, and it's very, they change as you move around them, and they change with the light, and they reflect the room back to itself. So it responds to you, and it responds to the light. So you can't really appreciate all the nuance that goes into the work from one still photograph.